I see tremendous growth. There's been a lot of discussion of that in the meeting today. Number of new products and new product modalities, and that's going to drive the need for new capacity and technology to manage that. It is a very exciting time to be in the industry as we're really going to have to be more resourceful and look for innovative ways to manage this, because what has worked in the past may not work in the future as we deal with this growth, and particularly around with the new products. Well, there's, now I see actually two, and the panel is actually going to address one of them. I do feel talent, hiring people in this area of growth, and this is certainly for the next 5 years, may not be as big of an issue today, but it's clearly one that we have not put a lot of attention to, and it's good that in this forum we'll have a panel to discuss it. But hiring people is going to be very hard, just like any other aspect of your supply chain. This is a viable and limited resource, and it will need to be managed better. We're not going to be able to poach off the other companies to get your talent. We need to find ways of developing it, partnering with universities, developing your own coursework and other programs. And so we'll be talking a little about that at the panel. So I do feel that the timing of that is appropriate given the importance of this in our supply chain. The other, and this one has not been discussed as much, been highlighted, is raw materials. We are seeing significant issues in managing the quality of raw materials and also the ensuring integrity of supply. And it is a challenge in our industry because we do rely on other industries where our raw materials aren't necessarily number one. We're relying potentially on a company that needs to feed raw materials into making tires for a car. But if they change that, it's not going to impact the tires, but it could have a huge impact on our particular processes. So we have to be mindful of that. And as we grow, it's only going to get worse. And then obviously with new product modalities and different raw materials, it's going to be a challenge. So that's something that will definitely have a lot of attention need to be paid towards over the next 5 years. Well, it has been a topic of conversation for some time. I've been in my various companies. I've always been looking out for new ways of doing business. My background is process development and technology development originally. I have seen actually firsthand where introducing a new technology, which I don't like to do on critical path, actually became a critical need, and that was the alternating tangential flow filter used for perfusion, which has currently now become a platform for perfusion and continuous manufacturing. But that came from early work with it, and actually largely at Centocor, that developed the technology and brought it on the first two commercial products, Symphony and Stellara. And now companies are trying to use it to develop a continuous platform. I'm not sure where that's going, because in the end, the issue we need to manage is, what we have: quality systems, we have consistency of supply, we have mentality of, and also having confidence in supply and minimizing risk. And the old technology does that better than the new technology. You have to take risk. And so only when you're really pushed are you going to take that risk. And that's going to be what's interesting over the next 5 years. Where is that push going to be coming from? Because it's like with oil and gas prices. When things happen, it forces people when the prices go up that they now invest in green fuels. And then when the prices go down, the incentive isn't there. Unfortunately, we still have that dynamic in our industry, that the need for innovation is, if you're not pushed, it's not going to move the needle, because it is a tough industry to make change and do something new and different. Because if the change does not pan out, it's disastrous. And in the end, you're going to stick with what works. So it's an interesting dynamic. We're going to continue to see innovation. I'm curious to see where the push is going to come to move that innovation in a commercial setting. Well, it is, as I mentioned, on talent, and it's sourcing it, and it's also retaining it. it's a global issue. And on our panel, we will have a global representation, which it's interesting, is how to manage that with multinational companies and also looking at manufacturing in different locations and where you're sourcing that talent. And I'm expecting out of the panel to gain awareness, get people talking about it. And then I think there needs to now start moving towards, well, having consortiums and develop, more working committees or meetings and workshops on how to manage it better. Because back in the day when Genentech first actually came across this bottleneck was in the 80s and 90s when they were the first. There was no talent. They had to develop themselves, and they actually partnered with a college, and this was when they built the Vacaville site, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere. And they developed an educational program and partnered with a community college there in order to train their workforce in Vacaville. We're going to need more of that, and it's going to be because of the growth. We really need to work together to manage it rather than one company setting up its educational program, because in the end we're going to be competing all for the same resources. Well, I mean, obviously, if you find good talent, nurture it and make sure you're attentive to giving them, challenges, accountability, make them feel that they're wanted and they have opportunities. Retain your good talent, and that is, first and foremost. And then, obviously, we're going to need to be thinking differently about how we find new talent. It's been excellent. Really strong presentation, terrific speakers, and I enjoy the networking with people that I hadn't seen in 10 years to people that obviously I'm working with day to day and sharing our common experiences and challenges. It's a great forum. Well, this particular summit tries to get people together. You guys work extra hard on that through the one-on-one meetings, lunch and learns, and just trying to promote discussion. I think that is a really good aspect of this summit. You guys should continue doing that. I would say that we are at a very exciting time in the biopharmaceutical industry. Manufacturing is at a crossroads, as I'd mentioned, and we have the power to make things better for our patients, either by reducing costs, bringing products to market faster, being more innovative in getting capacity online so we can treat our patients. We have an opportunity to make a huge difference in the world, and that's a terrific feeling. And this particular forum, obviously gets us together to talk about these things at an exciting time in the industry. And this is, I'm excited and looking forward to the next challenges. And yeah, it's going to be a good run the next 5-10 years for sure.